it's Tina and I'm back. And I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe. Alright, I know, I'm just gonna say it, okay? Elephant in the room. I am not wearing much makeup, alright? I barely filled in my eyebrows, put some mascara on, and I'm barely wearing foundation and some lip gloss, okay? I am tired. If you guys didn't ask me to film this video, honestly, I would be in bed right now sleeping. But I know that's not really what you guys want me to talk about. It's the new hair. I know, okay? Get into, like, huh? What? Look at this color. Are you living for it? Because I am living for it right now. And I did this myself. I know, I am so proud of myself. Like, even my little roots with the little highlights, like, I did it. I think I did a good job, okay? I think I did a pretty good job. And I didn't intend to do this. I was just going to lighten the ends of my hair a little bit more. You guys know I have like a balayage, ombre kind of situation where the roots are darker. But I started coloring my hair and ended up just doing the whole thing. And I did this over a couple of days because the first round, it was a little bit brassy, a little bit orange. So I had to go ahead and tone it so it would be a little bit more on the brown side, a little bit more cool tone. It's honestly not cool tone at all. It's more of like a caramel brown. And I like it, and I like where I touched up my little highlight. Now, if you part it, it probably doesn't look as seamless. Like, there's some choppy areas, okay? It's not a professional job, mind your business, okay? But all I need is for the center part to look good and for it to look good in a ponytail. So I'm not worried about that. That's how I wear my hair, and that's just it. But no, honestly, I'm still not wearing any makeup because I'm super tired. But I wanted to go ahead and film this video because a few of you reached out to me. I've been tagged, I've been sent links, like, it's been a whole situation. And we're just gonna talk about it, okay? Makeup Geek is shutting down. And I'm sure all of you guys have heard about this by now, but they announced on their website that they are going out of business. And I'm just going to read directly from the website. Let's pop it up over here as well. Now, if you go on the website, you're going to need to scroll down through a couple of layers to get to the announcement. So it says, "Thank you very much. We truly appreciate each and every one of our followers and customer support. COVID-19 has had a large impact on the company and our sourcing capabilities. We're heartbroken to announce the closure of Makeup Geek in April 2022. Thank you to all our Makeup Geeks. Sending hugs and much love, the Makeup Geek team." Marlena, who is the owner, CEO of Makeup Geek, also did like a short video on her channel speaking about why the brand is closing down and giving her thanks and all that. It's a short video, so you can give it a watch. So pretty much what she was saying in that video is because of the pandemic and the world pretty much shutting down, which brought about massive supply chain shortages and shipping delays, that she wasn't able to launch all the products that she had in the pipeline for the Makeup Geek rebrand in 2020. Okay? And also the makeup consumer landscape had changed because people weren't wearing makeup as much. We're not going anywhere. Why am I wearing makeup? So she was unable to sustain Makeup Geek throughout the last 2 years, and they are shutting down. Now, to be fair, okay, those things definitely did factor into the brand not doing as well as it probably could have in these last couple of years. But I'm just going to say it, okay? I am going to be completely frank. I am surprised that they held on for this long. I am surprised that they were still around. I am surprised they weren't one of the first brands to close up shop in the last couple of years. I am surprised that Becca and BH Cosmetics went out of business before they did. Like, honestly, I am not trying to be mean. I am not trying to be petty. In fact, I am making a concerted effort not to be too feisty in this video. One, because I'm tired, but also I really don't care that much, right? But I'm surprised that they're still around. All right, so Like I said, I'm not trying to be petty, but let's just walk through Makeup Geek as a brand and why I think this was inevitable, all right? So, Makeup Geek started, wait. I told you guys, the only thing I can literally chug is coconut water. I can't chug anything else, but I have been downing these bottles of coconut water. Oh my God, I'm so hydrated, okay? So anyway, Makeup Geek started back in 2008 on YouTube and was one of the original channels that were a part of the beauty space back when beauty influencers were called makeup gurus. Do you guys remember that? She was in the company of Exparkage and Petrilude and Encore Makeup. Those were the good old days. You'll hear people talk about that all the time. But Marlene Estelle, give her credit where credit is due. She was one of the OGs. She was one of the original influencers back when Lipstick Alley and Spectral was a thing. She even created her own blog and forum where makeup geeks, right, and beauty lovers of all kinds could go and share their love of makeup. You would see tutorials and eye looks, and remember when we used to do arm candy? What was that about? And then you'll have lip recipes. People would give you lip liner, lipstick, and gloss combinations. Like, it was a whole thing. That was a time, all right? This is when my love of makeup was born and truly flourished. We're talking in the age of MAC Cosmetics and all their lovely pigments that I had to collect, and all the limited collection releases that we would go chasing. Like, we would literally have the release dates and times ready, set, go. We would literally be in lines at the MAC store before it opened just so we could get our hands on the limited quantities of these products that were available. But that is another story for another time. But this is the time that Makeup Geek started, right? So she started in 2008 with her beauty channel, did the spin-off with her blog and her forum, and Marlena, to her credit, saw a great opportunity to create her own brand in the makeup space because makeup was so popular, it was selling like wildfire. And again, this was at the height of success for MAC in the beauty community. Now, MAC was always popular with makeup artists, and it still is, but back then, MAC was the it brand. Like, if you weren't wearing MAC Ruby Woo, like, what were you doing? Where's Russian Red? Like, what are you doing? Are we allowed to wear Russian Red anymore? Probably not. But for real though, y'all seem to forget, but MAC was really that girl, okay? And if you were any type of beauty lover, then you had a MAC collection in your arsenal. Let's be real. You had a couple of their lipsticks, you had a couple of lip glosses, and yes, it's lip glass. I remember people used to correct me all the time. They're like, you said lip glass, it's lip gloss. And I'm like, no, I said what I said, and I meant what I said. I said lip glass, and it's lip glass. If you knew, then you would know. Like, ew. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing using squeezy tubes? Yuck, like, get with it, okay? MAC was that girl. So much so that people would create videos just letting you know how to differentiate between NC and NW and what they stand for, like neutral cool, neutral warm. Like, there was a whole thing, okay? MAC was really it. So Makeup Geek started off the back of MAC. She started by packaging their pigments. So their pigments used to come in these larger jars, right? And people would package them out in smaller containers and sell them because you could never go through a full MAC pigment. You could split it 10 ways and still be left with more than enough to serve you for a lifetime. So a lot of repackaging happened with MAC pigments, and that's how Makeup Geek started. She was selling the little baggies and the little containers, the 5-gram jars, okay, of MAC pigment. She would buy them with her pro discount, which I don't think was allowed, but she would buy them with her pro discount because you got 40% off, and she would repackage them and sell them on her website. That's how she started, right? And then she spun off and started doing eyeshadows, okay? Y'all remember when Sigma started too? They started off the back of MAC. Let's not pretend we don't remember, okay? When they had the SS 239s because they were imitating MAC 239 brushes. Anyway. So Makeup Geek started making eyeshadows to dupe MAC eyeshadows because MAC eyeshadows were expensive. Okay, they were $14 a pop. $14. They're now what, like 20? Whew. But those eyeshadows were expensive. So Marlena said, I am going to go ahead and dupe MAC eyeshadows at a cheaper price point, because a lot of videos were also created to dupe MAC products. Like legitimately, people are going to Michael's craft stores, all right, and picking up low Cornell paint brushes that were the same shape or similar shape to the MAC 239 brushes or the MAC 217s, and using them to apply eyeshadows, because MAC brushes were coveted. They were the gold standard, but they were so expensive. So people would try to find cheaper alternatives. And just like that, they would try to find cheaper dupes of the MAC eyeshadows. Remember Coastal Scents Hot Pots? Same premise, right? So with that same idea, Makeup Geek went ahead and started making single eyeshadows that duplicated very popular shades of MAC eyeshadow. That's how she started, okay? And she would have swatches showing the comparison of each of the shades, all right? So that's a little makeup history for you. That's how she started. That's how she really got her foot in the door with the brand. And that's where I think she kind of lost the plot, okay? She started out as this budget-friendly brand. She was selling these eyeshadow pans for $5 a pop, which was a lot more affordable than the $14 option at MAC, and they performed just as well. And then she shifted a bit and started to expand the range with original shades that she thought were popular or that people asked for, like a mustard brown. Not a lot of brands would have like a mustard brown or a pastel peach, like those different fun shades. Like Peach Smoothie was a big seller, and at such a great price point compared to the other mainstream brands, Makeup Geek was making a killing. They were doing really well. And then she expanded with different textures, and she was playing around with formulations. So she went ahead and created foiled eyeshadows, which was a different formula on the market than we've seen, but they were also more pricey. And she explained that, you know, the formulation is a little bit different, so they're gonna be a lot more pricey. But with that, she shifted away from being the budget option to kind of being in line with some of these mid-range brands. So people were kind of like, hold up now, we came to you because you had a great price point, what's going on? And she also expanded the range to include bronzers and highlighters and loose pigments. At one point there were liquid lipsticks, lip glosses, eyeliner pencils, the works. She also had eyeshadow brushes, but the price point was no longer Makeup Geek affordable. Now they were more getting closer to like MAC prices, and we were like, hold up, why are we spending $20 on your bronzer when I can probably spend $5 more and get a bronzer from Benefit, right? So at that point, she shifted the competition from drugstore and other indie brands on the market, the Coastal Scents and the Sigmas, to now getting a little bit closer to the MAC prices that she was trying to beat before, right? And then there were some rookie mistakes and some missteps with the brand that I think started adding to the downfall of Makeup Geek. So we'll mention the loose pigments that were released. Some of them were foiled pigments. They were gorgeous, like they were great. Now those pigments were supposed to be housed in little screw top plastic jars similar to this one, right? With an insert included, so you would open it up and you will have an insert with the little holes, so you could limit the amount of pigment that would be dispensed at a time, so you wouldn't just have the open jar with the pigments, right? That was what they were intended to be housed in. However, the original launch was just the plain jar without the sifter included, because she didn't get the shipment in time of the little sifter inserts. Don't know why you bothered to launch. You could have just delayed it until you got the sifters, or did like a pre-order or whatever, okay? But wait for the sifter inserts. So that was her first misstep with that launch. Now people started complaining about that, right? Because she had made a big stink about having the little sifter thing in the jars, and that was gonna help lessen the mess that you could create with loose pigments, right? So the whole appeal of the jar now went out the gate. So people started complaining, and what happened is once she got the little inserts, she started selling them on her website for like a penny. So you could buy them for a penny if you'd already made a purchase purchase of the pigments, and then they would ship it to you so you can have them, but you wouldn't pay for shipping. Like, it was a whole to-do. I don't remember like the exact way it happened, but that was the intent. And then anyone that bought the pigments after would then get the insert. Fine, no problem. I went ahead and bought those pigments, but here's what happened. I got the jars just like this, right? With the inserts, but the inserts weren't in the jars. The inserts were sent in like a separate little baggie, and I had to put the inserts in myself. Here's the other problem that happened. You put the insert in, right? So you're like, okay, I can put the insert in. It doesn't take MacGyver to do that. I can do that, right? So you put the little sifter in, you screw the cap on, the jar cracked. Because the sifters were way too big to fit in the jar snugly without causing some pressure when you screw the cap on. So your jars cracked, okay? And right away I'm like, what the hell is that? And I remember making a video about it. I'm like, why? Because now I don't know if I have little plastic shards in my pigment because my jar is cracked. And you know how you crack glass and they're like, throw it out, don't even try to drink from it because you don't know where the little splinters are, right? So I'm like, am I supposed, what the hell is that? So there's another misstep that she made. Now, skipping along when she started doing collaborations with influencers. Y'all remember this? Oh my God. So she did a highlight palette. Remember the trio with Kathleen Light? That little trio was so expensive. Oh my God. So her highlighters were $20 a pop. Y'all remember? $20. And then the palette itself was like, with the three was like $54. And people are like, what the fuck? Like, who's gonna spend $54 on a Makeup Geek highlighter palette? Like, it ain't that great. Like, but because it was an influencer collaboration, people still bought it. And I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was expensive, all right? And then she did eyeshadow palettes, those 9-pan eyeshadow palettes. Y'all remember those that we couldn't get rid of? Oh my God. So she did one with Manny MUA, right? 9 pans. Again, that was like 50-something dollars, and people are like, hold up. What's the point of me buying a 9-pan eyeshadow palette that's gonna be the same price as if I bought the 9 singles on their own? Like, it was like 40-something dollars for the palette. So it's like you're not saving anything there when we have naked palettes on the market that were at that point $49. So again, you see where her prices were kind of matching up now to those mid-range mainstream brands, and you're like, Makeup Geek or Urban Decay, 12 eyeshadows for $49 or 9 eyeshadows for $45, like, you know? And I mean, it's still sold out. People still love the palette, but of course now the complaints are coming out. Is it really worth it? Is Makeup Geek quality really worth it? And the quality was sufficient, okay? Let's be fair, the quality was sufficient. I mean, she was up against MAC, and MAC was doing some kind of really crappy eyeshadow formulations at that point. If you didn't get the pro eyeshadows, you aren't getting really great eyeshadows, let's be fair. But like, Makeup Geek was not that great. It was good, it was better than drugstore, but it wasn't that good. Like, why the price point, right? So here we go, she's doing all these things, and lo and behold, she had another misstep with Miss Jaclyn Hill. Oh, lordy, lordy. Is Jaclyn gonna drop the hill like Kim Kardashian right now? Oh, what's a fiasco. Anyway, so she was supposed to do a collaboration with Jaclyn Hill. I'm not gonna get into it because that's a long story, but the collab didn't happen. She was salty about it. She'd ordered all these eyeshadows and all these shades that Jaclyn had created. It didn't pan out, so she ended up having to sell those eyeshadows as singles because she got screwed over in that deal because she didn't sign a contract up front. You know, it was a whole thing, but whatever. There's a sore spot between her and Jaclyn Hill, okay? And come to find out, there's also a sore spot with her and Manny MUA with his collaboration, because even though he created this 9-pan eyeshadow palette, apparently a couple of shades in that palette he had to take from the previous collaboration with Jaclyn Hill that didn't pan out. So he inherited these leftover shades. I think the duochrome in his palette, he inherited that from the Jaclyn Hill palette. So there was a lot going on behind the scenes, right? But Marlena and her team were just making some bad business decisions behind the scenes. And I don't don't think any of them truly know or knew how to run a successful business. And I think a lot of brands would benefit from taking a page out of Huda Katan's book. Huda Beauty, did you guys know this? That Huda stepped down as the CEO of her brand and handed it over to someone who was more experienced and a lot more business savvy than she was. And she took on the role of like a creative director, where she could still be hands-on with the product development and the colors and like the formulations and all that and demonstrating the products, but she wouldn't be so involved with the business end of things. So she wouldn't be involved with sourcing and marketing necessarily. I mean, she still did some of the marketing, but you know what I mean? She wasn't involved with the day-to-day running of the business and doing the contracts and with the manufacturing and you know, all these labs that you had to coordinate with and the supply chain and all that stuff. Like, she wasn't doing any of that. She stuck to what she knew and loved and left everything else to the CEO and whoever the business team was, which was one brilliant decision. Kudos to Huda Beauty. There's some sketchy things about Huda, but she made the right decision. She had a team behind her that would run the business. Marlena, for me, is like, she was so consumed with being Makeup Geek, the face of Makeup Geek, the marketing person for Makeup Geek, the creator. Like, she was making all these decisions, or she hired people that weren't making the right decisions. And lo and behold, here we are today, okay? No. Listen, y'all remember when I said you couldn't get rid of those 9-pan eyeshadow palettes? Gee Louise. So she'd ordered like 100,000 units of these eyeshadow palettes. I don't know who told her to order that many, but I guess she thought Jacqueline was gonna sell out, okay? You could have just did it a little at a time. You ain't even have to go that much, but she ordered all these palettes, and now she had to make do and like create these 9-pan eyeshadow palettes, like these stories. She was trying to sell stories left and right to get through the stock of those palettes. And even up until 2020, she was still selling these freaking eyeshadow palettes. And it was old, and it was stale. It was just so done. Oh my god. And then comes the rebrand, right? Because Makeup Geek is going to be new and fresh. They're gonna come up to speed with all the other indie brands and all the brands that are on the market, like blowing her out the water. She was gonna do a rebrand. Oh, I didn't mention this. Colourpop is another reason Makeup Geek took a hit, because Colourpop now came on the scene in the 2014-ish, like? I was right, girl, 2014. Look at me knowing my makeup history. Okay, so Colourpop started in 2014, and they came out with their Super Shock eyeshadows. It was innovative. It was different. They were in these little screw top jars. Cute, right? The white packaging. It was so different and edgy and a little bit indie. And they were $5 a pop. And they were in eyeshadow pots. Now, they weren't just single pans that you had to get a palette for and pop them in. Now they were getting single pots, and people were all over it, okay? And Colourpop expanded, like they boomed. With those Super Shocks, they did the lippy pencils and the lippy sticks, which were phenomenal as well. $5 a pop. Then they expanded into single eyeshadows, also $5 a pop. Guess who is being left in the dust? Because Colourpop is now doing what Makeup Geek had been doing, but they were maintaining that $5 price point. Everything at Colourpop was $5. I mean, they're a little bit more pricey now, but they've still retained this really affordable price point. $8 for products, $10, $12. Their eyeshadow palettes are like $12, $14. Maybe you'll get one of the big ones for $32, but they do sales and stuff. You can always get a discount. So it's like Colourpop came in with a bigger budget. They had a bigger name behind, well, not a bigger name, but like a lot more capital behind them to really push these products. And they were turning them over like this because they manufacture in-house. So the turnaround time, girl, they could be on a trend. If they see that blue eyeshadow is trending, tomorrow you have a Colourpop palette that has blue eyeshadows. They were on it. So now Makeup Geek is struggling to keep up. Makeup Geek now not only had to compete with like the legacy brands on the market and the mid-range mainstream brands, They now had to compete with these other indie brands that were popping up. The Colourpops, the Sydney Graces of the world. All these other indie brands were popping up and making eyeshadows at that $5 price point that Makeup Geek was no longer keeping up with. So Colourpop came in, whew, forget it, Makeup Geek who, right? So now she's competing with all these other brands. Makeup Geek isn't doing that great. And then Marlena herself goes ahead and gets herself involved in drama. So you guys may remember the My Truth videos that came out during the original Dramageddon here on YouTube. Y'all remember that? Oh, child. Dramageddon and the My Truth video from, what's his name? I forget his name, don't care, but the My Truth videos, the Truth videos started making their rounds, and Marlena decided to release her Truth video where she spilled the beans and pretty much threw the beauty community and the most popular beauty influencers on the platform under the bus. She started talking about how these beauty influencers are greedy and they're not showcasing her brand on their channel because she can't afford to pay them $65,000 to feature her products when other brands were sponsoring these videos and taking influencers on these trips. She couldn't afford to do that, and that's why her brand was kind of being blackballed in the makeup community. Really? That's why? That's why you think? Okay, maybe you just aren't as exciting anymore. Maybe your products aren't hitting. Maybe you aren't sending out PR packages at all, which became the expectation from these larger influencers. Larger influencers stopped buying makeup at some point. They were sent everything. We had these brands sending them like huge PR boxes. Like Tati, y'all remember when she used to do, you remember when she used to be called Glam Life Guru? Stop. The guru came from the makeup guru. She was one of them OGs too. But she would do these huge PR unboxings. Like you would see boxes and boxes behind her of product. And that's just what became expected by these beauty gurus. They weren't buying products. They were expecting to be sent it. Marlena wasn't sending out PR products. And I mean, maybe she couldn't afford to send out that much, but you could send out something. You were making profit, or maybe you were making bad business decisions and opening distribution centers and buying these big warehouses to sell product that you weren't actually selling. What were you doing? Like, why were you doing this? Like, for real though, like, why were you investing in all this infrastructure when you weren't even selling? You know what? Whatever. I'm gonna mind my business. All right. But anyhow, she wasn't sending out PR boxes, so they weren't gonna buy your products to talk about your products. Like, why would I buy your product to talk? I mean, smaller influencers were doing it. They were buying launches and buying products and showcasing it on their channels, but she didn't appreciate that. She was mad that the big gurus weren't featuring and talking about Makeup Geek products anymore. And I'm like, get over it, honey. But then at the same time, like, flip it, in the same video out the side of her mouth, she was like, yeah, I was a pioneer in the beauty space, and I definitely think that influencers should be paid their worth. Like, they should be paid for their work. So on one hand, you want them to do free promotion. Then on the other hand, you want them to be paid for their work and know their worth. But nothing's meeting in the middle. Like, you know what I mean? So people are just like, whatever. And it's like, once Jaclyn Hill stopped really pushing Makeup Geek, they had that falling out over the launch that didn't happen. They had like a bit of a falling out. Jaclyn Hill stopped really pushing Makeup Geek. And then the other influencers also stopped pushing Makeup Geek. She wasn't sending out PR. No one had the products anyway. They had to buy it in order to feature it. And it's like, what? How? Make it make sense, ma'am. And then she wasn't paying for sponsored videos. She wasn't doing like the affiliate links or nothing. Like that was a big thing. Morphe came, oh my god, Morphe came and changed the game on her again. So first it was Colourpop, then it was Morphe with the affiliate codes. So beauty influencers started pushing affiliate codes and making money that way because, hey, they gotta make a living, sweetie. I mean, it was underhanded the way they do it, like it was a little sketch, but still, people got to make money. You over here talking about know your worth, but yet you weren't willing to pay them. So that happened. She did the My Truth video complaining and pretty much blaming everybody in the beauty space for why her brand wasn't doing well. And it's like, so you didn't do nothing wrong. Nothing. Interesting. So then, lo and behold, I did a response video to her My Truth video. I know, like I did a Dramageddon video. It wasn't just about her, it was about the whole Dramageddon, okay, with Manny MUA, Laura Lee, I still don't remember his name, oh my god, and then the Star Yak guy. So all of that was happening, right? People were doing response videos. Like, this blew up when she said that influencers were asking for $65,000 a video. People started going after influencers, calling them greedy and how dare you, like how could you do this to Makeup Geek? Like, it was like the pitchforks were out, and it's like influencers then started to respond to that. She ain't like that, right? So she took a little bit of a backseat. She was like over here in the cut. Next thing, a few months later, she had it up to here with y'all, okay? Myself included. She had it up to here with us. She was like, y'all bitches gonna hear me today. She did another video, okay? Talking about everybody that did her wrong, okay? Every single person. She talked about James Charles, who called her out for her Netflix feature or whatever. He was so upset. Again, another story, another time. Who cares? He was so upset. But James Charles, she talked about, okay? He called her that woman. Stop it. He was disrespectful as hell. I made a video about that too, but hell, okay? She called him out. She called out Jaclyn Hill. Like, she put it all out there, how Jaclyn Hill screwed her over and all this. Okay, these are some of the biggest influencers on the platform, and you're calling them out? Okay? She called them out by name. She called me out by name, okay? She had a whole spiel about me. I'm like, ooh, like, it was like an hour-long video. I know my videos are long, but damn, it was an hour-long video. My part started at like an hour in, so I was like, what happened? Well, okay, let me go check. She called me out, girl. And here's the thing. She was blocking out my name, my full name, because I don't tell you guys what my last name is, right? Because I'm in the professional world. I don't need y'all, like, you know, hunting me down like that. So she put my, like, she was blocking it out, my email address and everything. Like, she was putting screenshots, and I'm like, oh, you one of them? You a T-channel? But she was doing all of this. Like, she had a whole workup about me, child. And so, in one of the snapshots, she didn't block out my name, right? And I'm like, I didn't realize it until people started reaching out to me on LinkedIn and reaching out to me on emails and Facebook and like, what is going on? But I mean, I got some flack after that video. Like, people were coming on my channel and calling me this and that, and I'm like, blocked, who cares? Like, I don't care. Like, it's not that I have thick skin, I just don't care. Like, you literally don't affect my life at all. I existed in a world before social media, so strangers on the internet mean diddly squat to me. They didn't mean anything when I was growing up. They definitely don't mean anything now. Like, you're not in my immediate circle. Like, what do I care what you have to say or think? Like, I don't have to explain myself to you. I don't have to justify myself to you. Like, who are you again? Right? So I didn't get too much. Like, I got some, but not too much. Like, it wasn't like a big deal. I actually got more views than anything. But she did that video, right? And it was blowing over, whatever. She also called out Temptalia, Christine. She called out Christine. And then after my spiel, she mentioned someone else that she had a conflict with, right? Which almost ended up in like a lawsuit situation. Yet she never mentioned that person by name. There were no receipts for that person. But me have strength for don't. Me have strength for. Anyway, she called me out and all these things, and I was like, ooh. So now you alienated the fan base of James Charles, Jaclyn Hill, my little, you know, my small, I don't compare to any of them, like my little group of supporters over here, like, oh hell no, you know, like, y'all were championing for me, but for real though, we're not that big of a group. But James Charles and Jaclyn Hill, You alienated their fans and supporters? Child, you just killed your brand right there. Because those people are gonna back up Jaclyn Hill and James Charles. I mean, probably not now, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not gonna buy your stuff now. Like, is you serious? So all the fans that could have been buying your products because of Jaclyn Hill still now alienated them, made them feel like, oh, I'm not supporting you now. Lo and behold, here goes your brand. Tank, 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 tank. This was all before a rebrand, right? So she laid low for a while after that video because she's like, I'm leaving the internet, and she like didn't come back for months that time. But she finally came back and she was gonna rebrand. I remember me tell it, oh, the Game of Thrones thing was a big thing. So the rebrand campaign was like, rebrand is coming with the Game of Thrones theme. Like, it was a whole to-do, okay? And I'm like, but ma'am, the North remembers, okay? And the North surely did remember, because that rebrand launch was a flop. I never see something flop so yet. I almost cried when the rebrand happened. I was like, ooh, 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 oh, I didn't even tell you all this. So lo and behold, she comes back finally, and she did a video coming back, and she was talking about the video that she did, talking about everybody else, right? And then people went back and watched that old video now. Remember, my name is in there where I'm doxxed, right? I'm called, like, I don't give that information out. It's not like if you wanted to find it out, you couldn't go find it out. But, like, if you're not digging for it, if you're not like a stalker, you're not gonna know. But now she has my name out there, and people have this renewed anger towards me. And again, I'm getting flooded with all these things on my LinkedIn and on my Facebook, and I have to make everything private, right? I have to go into all these search engines and tell them to remove my name. Like, my family was getting brought into this. Like, it's a whole thing. So I went over to her Twitter. I DM'd her on Twitter. I DM'd her on Instagram, right? And I'm like, hey, in your video, I timestamped it. I'm like, in your video, this little clip here has my name in it. Could you just cut it out? Because on the back end in YouTube, you can go in on old videos and like clip out little portions of your video if you needed to like correct something. Like in one video, I remember I had flashed my boobs. Like, it was in a reflection of a palette that I was swatching, and you could see my titties, like my bare titties, because I was swatching naked, and I had to go and just snip out that part. I was able to do it. So I was like, hey, could you do this, right? Days went by, no response. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go on YouTube and put in like, you know, to tag the video. It wasn't a strike on the channel. It was just a, hey, heads up, note on this video, could you remove this portion? It's a thing you can do on YouTube. I forget the name of it, but you can go to somebody's video, right? And just letting YouTube notify them personally that there's this portion of the video that somebody has like a complaint on, right? It doesn't take your video down. It doesn't strike your channel, nothing like that. It's just like, hey, this is happening, attention, attention, right? So I did that to her video. I woke up the next day. This is pre-COVID, okay? This is pre-COVID. I remember was I in Italy? Or I was somewhere traveling, because I think it was like February, right before COVID. And I wake up and she retaliated by striking the video that I did about her My Truth video. She struck my video, like copyright strike. And if you know anything about YouTube, if you're a creator, if someone strikes your channel, it's 3 strikes, you're out. Like, they can delete your channel, remove it completely. And people have been vindictive enough to try to strike people's channel. And then you have to go through this whole process, but it's like you're limited, and then you can't post, and all these things happen if you get a copyright strike, right? And I'm like, I wake up and literally I open up my YouTube app. So you have like the creator app. I open it up and like there's this red like X on it, like a big to-do, like they send you emails and everything telling you about this copyright strike. And I'm like, what the fuck happened, right? And then I realized, oh, this bitch petty. Oh, she petty. Ooh. Because I put that notice on her video to get her attention, she decided to retaliate and was like, oh, bitch, you strike me, I'ma strike you too. But I didn't strike her. Like, I didn't do anything that affected her video, her channel, nothing. Nothing was taken down. My video was automatically taken down. And it was like, removed from YouTube. You can't get it no more. Like, I don't even have a backup of this video. Like, how dare you? Like, how dare you? And mind you, I've been on YouTube for over 10 years, so I have all my content. All that work that I put in was at stake now because you wanted to be bitter and petty. Like, don't do that. You know me now. I went ape shit. I was so loud in Twitter about it. Like, I put her on blast. All these drama channels were kind of picking up on it. Like, people came to my defense, and I thank you guys so much for the support. Oh my God, I was going off, and y'all had my back. Y'all were like, nah, y'all better take that strike off Tina's channel. How dare you, right? So it was a big to-do. Okay, I'm not even gonna get into it because, again, a big to-do. So she strikes my channel. A lot of people saw that now as shady. People are talking about it and they're like, wait a minute, you doxed her in your video. She asked you to remove that snippet, but instead you're gonna retaliate and strike her. Like, who does that, right? And then it was this whole to-do. She got lawyers, child. I tell you, y'all know because I put it all on blast. She had her lawyer contacting me talking about cease and desist. Go cease and desist under your mother, gal. What you know about me, come to me. Because nothing I was saying was a lie. So what? She's like, slander. How? Slander and defamation. Ooh, miss her. What miss her? You strike me. What you mean? And you know I put that on blast on Twitter too. I'm like, she sent me a cease and desist, like her lawyer out here. And y'all that are lawyers, y'all were in my DMs. You're like, child, she can't do nothing to you. You're good, okay? She can't cease and desist nothing. So I was like, ooh, I was researching stuff. Like, y'all don't play with me, okay? I am signed up for legal representation through my job. I was ready, okay? I'm like, ooh, we going to do this? I'm gonna say, aye, liar, sir. Tell me where the definition. I said, liar, sir. I'm responding to me. I'm like, sir, where is the defamation and slander? Please and thanks, tell me. Then she emailed me and she's like, oh, can I get your number too? You been had my number, so you deleted it. Oops. We were cool back in the day. You had my number. I mean, it's still have our number in my phone. That's the thing, because when I was like, all right, you know what? Let's just squash this. I gave her my number and she texted me. It popped up as Marlene Estelle because, like I said, we had each other's numbers. Anyway, cease and desist. Now your brand cease and desist. How about that? Let me stop being petty. Oh my God. Okay, so anyway, that happened right before her rebrand. Right before her rebrand. I know she was so livid. I know she was so mad at herself that she woke up and felt like being petty, because that, I think, definitely hit the rebrand, okay? I definitely think she took a huge hit with that, because you get into drama right before your launch and your rebrand. So the North remembers, okay? And a lot of people had my back in that. Creators had my back because they know what a copyright strike is all about, right? So anyway, she rebrand like a month after that. And then COVID hit. God don't like ugly. Karma. I don't think it's because of me. Let's be honest. It's really not. God is going to give somebody karma because of me. It's never that serious. It wasn't that serious. And I was never wishing her bad. Like, I'm just like, you know, you were wishing me bad by striking my channel. Like, that was low, but like, I don't wish you bad. But I mean, I'm not over here like singing your praises and wishing you great things, but I wasn't wishing you like terrible things, you know? I don't direct my energy like that. Now, not only did she rebrand and then the pandemic hit, but she rebranded and the rebrand itself was a flop because nothing changed. The logo didn't change for Makeup Geek. The packaging was still pretty much the same style and design. She shifted a little bit, but it was pretty much the same damn logo, same design of the packaging, black with some foil writing. I mean, it's the same old design that we're used to. She was still using the same old ass palettes. No, I'm lying. She now had this matrix system. Like, this was the big rebrand. This was the big innovation. This was what was gonna change the game. A matrix system, which was single eyeshadows, but no, they're no longer in round pans. Now they're in square pans. Ooh, y'all didn't see that coming, okay? The shape of the pans changed. In a matrix system, she had all neutral mattes, some colorful mattes, 2 different sets of eyeshadows. You could get them in this see-through palette. It was still magnetized, and they were just in square dimensions instead. And she had different sizes, but the pans did not fit snugly in any of these palette designs. None of them. Literally, you had gaps between the eyeshadows. It looked so janky. It was not well done. Not well executed at all. Like, if you were gonna do anything, you spent all this money, you had all this hype behind this rebrand, we were expecting greatness, and this is what you did? Look at Lethal Cosmetics. Lethal Cosmetics has one of the best palette design systems on their website. You can literally drag and drop your eyeshadows into their palette designer and organize your eyeshadows any which way you want to see like the layout of your palette, and all their eyeshadows fit perfectly into their palettes. Like, their palettes are designed to fit their eyeshadows. You have a certain number of eyeshadows that will fit in each of the sizes of their palettes, and they have face products as well that are in bigger pans that also fit into the palette. So you can have like 6 eyeshadows over here and 2 face powders. I think it's probably 9 eyeshadows and then 2 face powders, and they'll fit into a palette. Like, it's so well done. Chef's kiss, amazing. And here come Makeup Geek and them little spacey palette. So you have your eyeshadows just jiggling around. They aren't snugly fit. If you travel with them, they're gonna flip over, and oh my god, a mess, a mess. And she was like, oh, I'm gonna release powders and bronzers and blushes and highlighters. It's gonna be a whole matrix system. There are gonna be all these things that are coming out. The supply shortage hit, and those weren't able to be launched. That's what she said. But nobody ain't gonna buy it no way, because it's still not fit. Like, it wasn't aesthetically pleasing. Like, it wasn't like sexy and sleek, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I would have been like, we're gonna do this. No, she didn't. You can't, like, it literally takes somebody going into AutoCAD probably, or whatever tool they're using, to do the dimensions to fit everything. Like, I think she was probably scarred by the freaking sifters being too big for the jars and breaking the jars. Maybe that's why she put the gaps, because she's like, oh, that's not gonna happen to me again. I'm gonna make sure y'all have room and space. Maybe that's why. Child, all I know, it was a mess. It was tragic. And I mean, initially people bought some of them. They got them in PR as well. Most people got them in PR that featured them, but nobody was buying that big old palette for how much money? Again, with the price point, it was like $100 and something for that palette. Why wouldn't I just buy Pat McGrath or like Natasha Denona that are really great quality? Apparently, I don't know about Natasha, but apparently, like, people love those eyeshadows, so why they're gonna buy your eyeshadows? And mind you, all mattes. Meanwhile, shimmers are like the rage right now, and you came out with all mattes. Mattes were the rage back in the day. Now people want shimmers. She released, I think, a 1 shimmer or 2 shimmer in the whole palette of like 68 eyeshadows. Like, what? And the eyeshadows were muted and dusty. None of those looked beautiful. Like, where's the pigment? Where's the pizzazz? Like, where's the oomph? Like, with all these indie shadows being available now, all these other brands that are giving you a run for your money, this is what you came out with? And then you're surprised that it was a flop? And then you're surprised the brand after shut down? Lot of mercy. Lot of mercy. Let me tell, listen, at that point, okay, at that point, I was like, oh yeah, pack it up. I in fact thought she was gonna pack it up in 2019. I was like, for sure, just shut down, don't even bother. But next to me, a rebrand come. I was like, all right, maybe they're doing better than I thought, but I don't see it. I don't see how. But maybe, I don't know the numbers, maybe. And then they launched in Target. I was like, okay, they're doing better than I thought. They got a contract in Target. This is gonna be, maybe I'm wrong. Like, I didn't care that much, so it's like, thrive. I'm a bad man like that, right? If you're gonna thrive, thrive. I don't, me not box food out of nobody plate, okay? You go ahead and thrive, okay? If you can find your niche and do it, okay? Your success doesn't dull mine, so I don't wish anybody bad, right? But I was like, Target, this is gonna be, like, obviously she knows something I don't know. That didn't help either, because here's the thing, $20 for a quad. You go into Target, you go into the beauty section, you have, who do you have over there? You have e.l.f., L'Oreal, Maybelline. Is Rimmel in there? e.l.f. is over in there, right? So you have these e.l.f. palettes, these e.l.f. quads compared against Makeup Geek. e.l.f. quads are what, $3 for the bite size? $3 or $4 for the bite size. $4, I think, maybe maximum. I think it's $3, but Mega said $4, right? $4 for 4 eyeshadow. $20 for the Makeup Geek one. That, mind you, isn't in stunning packaging or isn't like innovative or looking different. Dull, muted, matte eyeshadows. Bite size, $4. Fun, avocado theme, blue theme, all the themes. Which one you gonna buy? Are you really going to? No, you're not. You're not. You're truly not. Let's be honest. You're not. So that didn't go over well either. So the rebrand flopped. The Target launch flopped. She couldn't get any, I guess, any of her materials to make new things. But really and truly, if you made new things, would that have helped? Because I don't think that would have helped the case anyway, because it would have still flopped. Whew. I did not intend for this video to be this long, but once I get into storytelling, like, I can go on forever. I love to give you guys the history and the background of things. I love that so much, but then I end up talking forever and the video is way too long. It's gonna be as long as her truth video, okay? But here we are. You guys wanted me to talk about it. So hopefully I can entertain you guys. Look at my little name necklace. I love this so much. It says Tina. Now I can go wash my face and go to bed. Cha! Even my lip gloss. Y'all remember this? Old school. Juicy Tubes from Lancome. Y'all thought lip gloss was popping. Juicy Tubes? You had to be there. Even Lancome tried to do a relaunch of their Juicy Tubes. These are still cute though, but that's what happened. Makeup Geek is shutting down, out of business as of April 2020. I would say go and pick up your favorite things over on the website for a discount, but why waste your time and waste your money? Even at 40% off, it's not that good. Buy something else. Go buy e.l.f. Buy something else. I'm just saying. I saw it coming. Like, I saw it coming years ago. Like, I, again, don't understand why she held on for this long. Is it pride? Is it ego? Is it like, well, I'm gonna prove people wrong? Or was it that it's her baby and she wanted to see it thrive? She wanted to succeed. Like, she wasn't going to just give up on it. But I'm like, sometimes you need to, that song go? Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Or was it know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. Hey, when you're sitting at the table. Y'all know that song, woo! But I'm just saying, she should have folded years ago, saved herself the headache and the money, because I'm sure she sunk a lot of money into that. So let me know what you guys think. Why do you think she held on for so long? I really think it was a combination of pride, ego, not wanting to let go of something that you've put so much effort and time into. It's like a baby, you know? I mean, she even started that clothing brand. She gave up on that. It didn't do well and she gave up on that. Like, she was trying to, y'all remember that she was trying to do like high-end luxury clothing? I mean, what? What? Like, I didn't get it. Like, she was so into luxury brand clothing and she was trying to do like her size inclusive spin-off of that. But then she had these high price points because of course she's trying to do quality, but it's like nobody buying that because you're not a fashionista. Like, she does, you know what? She be doing things that don't even make no sense, that don't even align with, like, were people looking at her for what she was wearing? I think she was trying to dupe Hervé Leger. Like, how do you even say that? Hervé Leger? Like, How are you gonna try to do, you could buy them with your Makeup Geek money, but you give us this shitty rebrand and this $50 top. Like, who buying that from you, child? Anyway, y'all let me know. Like, some people are just not natural born business owners, and that's okay. I would never open a business. Me? No. I can be a creative contributor. I would never. What? No, I would so flop because I don't even know where to start, okay? And I would not have a good team behind me, so never gonna happen. But like, give it up. Like, know when to give up. Like, walk away, ma'am. Walk away. But still wishing her all the best in her life and her future endeavors. Because we're not bitter bitches over here, okay? We'll talk shit. Like, we shady, but we still don't wish you bad. I mean, some of us might. I can't control what other people say, but personally I don't. But anyhow, I'm gonna go now because I need, what time is it? Whoo, 10 o'clock already. I need to go to bed. So hopefully you guys are staying safe again. I will leave links to my Instagram and Twitter. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Hopefully I can get this edited soon, child. But I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.